This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everybody, how you doing? My name's Carl and welcome to part one of the Your Future Aspirations webinar. So this is the first time we've ever done this. Usually I'll be coming out, seeing you all face to face. Obviously with the whole COVID lockdown, this has not been possible. So I wanted to make sure that none of you miss out on any of this good content, and hopefully you'll still get a lot out of these sessions. So just a quick introduction. This is me. Like I said, my name's Carl and I work for a charity called the My Trust. So what we are most known for here in East Sussex is the Youth Employability Service. So some of you might have worked with us already, but we are a team of careers advisors and we support young people to help them access education, employment or training. So helping people to get to where you are, back into education or into work, obviously. But also we help run the Uni Connect program, which is what this is a part of, which is helping to look at aspirations to accessing sort of higher and further learning. And that's why I'm kind of here today, just to talk to those of you who are sort of in year 12 to 14 and thinking about what options maybe are coming next. So this is going to be split into three parts, okay? So there will be activities and themes throughout, but I thought it'd be easier to break it up into manageable chunks. But all three of these in its entirety will come to these sort of objectives, all right? So you're going to have a chance to reflect on what education means to you. So some of you might have had a really good time in education. Some of you might have absolutely hated it. Some of you might be indifferent, and all experiences are valid. So I want us to have a little think about what it means to us, what our experiences are, and also maybe try to challenge some of the preconceived ideas we have of what education looks like. Also to have a little look at what other options are there, because a lot of the time people just assume college and that's it, when actually there's a lot more things that are available to you, and it's about finding what works for you as an individual. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to look a little bit about what makes us an individual and our own preferred learning styles, because some people can just read from a book, an exercise book, and write it down, and then they remember it. Other people, not so much. They might have to see things more visually, or they might have to do a physical activity in order to retain the information. Everybody learns differently. Everybody has different kind of ways of building on their skills and their knowledge. So we're going to look at that, what makes us us. And leading on from that, thinking about what are skills, what are qualities, how might they inform our decisions moving forward, and also to think about our aspirations. So those of you who might not know what aspirations mean, it's kind of like what are your goals? What do you hope to achieve? What do you aspire to? And thinking about, like we said, how can we get there? What pathways are there to get there? So yeah, that is the kind of aims and outcomes of this session, or of these three. So starting off, want us to have a little think, like we said, about what does education mean to you, okay? And I like this little quote. It's Albert Einstein, who widely is accredited as being one of the most important scientists and one of the most intelligent people ever to live. But he had ADHD. He also was a really delayed person in terms of like speech and language. Apparently he couldn't speak until he was like 7 or 8. So everyone kind of wrote him off as stupid. But yeah, this is a good little quote of his. So yeah, I like that very much. I'd like to get a little bit of information about your experiences though. So I've got a worksheet in the files that were sent over to you. there is worksheet 1, and it should look a little something like this. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is pause this video, open that up, and complete that. And then if you are watching this as part of a group, you can always discuss your answers, or maybe at the end, if you're having a catch up with your tutor or your teacher, then maybe you can discuss this sheet with them in a bit more detail. But it's pretty simple. It's just saying some statements such as education is enjoyable, for example, and you either tick agree, disagree, or not sure, you can yes or no, yes and no rather, and then just write a short reason for your answer as well. So it shouldn't take you too long, but yeah, if you pause this video now, complete that, and then come back when you're ready. Brilliant. So hopefully now you've all completed worksheet 1, which is great. So it'd be great to hear some feedback, obviously, at the end as well in our evaluation about what you thought of that activity. So moving on from our sort of discussions, I wanted to show you a quick video, and originally I was going to show it through here. However, the audio will sound awful. So again, there in your in the file that I sent you, you should see a video. I will not let an exam result decide my fate. So it's a piece of spoken word poetry by a guy called Sulu Breaks, really good artist, really good rapper as well, and hopefully you'll get something from this. So I'd like you to watch it, and I'd like you to think about, what is he trying to say? Like, what are the main points he's trying to get across in this video? All right, so I'd like you to pause this, give that video a watch, and then we'll come back together in a second. Thank you.
Revolution and Represent 107.1.
Great, so hopefully you've now had a chance to watch that video, and yeah, if you, like I said, if you are doing this as part of a group, have a discussion maybe with your classmates. I don't know if you're on Messenger or Microsoft Teams or whatever, but have a little discussion. What are your thoughts on it? What are the key messages that he's trying to get across? And what can you take from it? Yeah, well, I was gonna say I can't hear you, but hopefully you were shouting at the screen anyway. So some of the key points that I took from this, which I think is really important, is firstly not to be afraid of failure, because a lot of the time I have in the past, and a lot of young people I work with, sometimes they don't bother trying to do things because they're worried that they might fail, or they might not get the grades, or they might not do as well as they hope. So I'm just not going to try. I'm not going to put myself out there, and that can again prevent a lot of good opportunities for you. So try not to be afraid of failure, because it's not always a bad thing. Think about, when can failure be a good thing? Falling off your bike might be a good thing when you're learning to ride a bicycle, because after a while you learn how to balance, you learn the mistakes you made, and you make adjustments. And that's the whole point. As long as you learn and then you make adjustments and you adapt, some of the best learning can come from failing. And that's where your progress comes from. Exactly what I just said can be a positive. Worth noting as well, lots of very successful, intelligent people failed exams and got whack GCSE results, or didn't get A levels, for example. That doesn't mean that they aren't intelligent. It doesn't mean that they have failed in life, because people like Richard Branson, people like Simon Cowell, Benedict Cumberbatch, the actor as well, they all have admitted to doing terribly in school and college. However, they're all super rich, successful people, and by no means are they stupid. And yeah, some of us didn't have a good time in school, so they think that education isn't for them, and it's just not, doesn't work for them. And that might be the case with school, but like I said, education is a lot more broad. There's lots of different ways in which you can be an educated person, different things that you can study, and different ways that work for you. So try not to think that just because school didn't work out or college didn't work out, that education isn't right. Nice one. So that kind of leads us nicely to this. So is all education the same? We're going to have a little look at that. There's lots of options there. So we've got another quick activity for you. So if you go back onto the folder given, activity link 1, there's this little link here. So if you click on that into your browser, it should come up like this. And it will give you a short little activity to do, okay? So it's going to be looking at some of the differences between school and further education. So if you click start, the first thing is school. You'll see school. So you need to find which of these is true for school. Okay, so have a read through. So formal lessons in a classroom. Yeah, that's one of them. So you've got to find another 5 of these which are equivalent to school. And then it will tell you what some of the key differences are between school and further education. So if you can pause this video, complete the activity, and then we'll be back very shortly in just one moment. Thank you. Brilliant. So hopefully you have completed this task, and you can see some of the key differences between school and further learning, or further education rather, is that the element of choice is really back in your hands. You get to choose what motivates you, what you would like to study. You get to pick the right type of education that works for you, whether that be in a classroom or out of the classroom, formal, informal, academic, vocational. These are all words that we should maybe do a bit of research into what they mean, because they're all different types of learning out there. And like we said, some of you might want to be learning at work whilst you're earning a wage. That's a really great option as well for some people that are a bit more hands-on. And obviously being assessed in different ways. Not everyone likes exams. Sometimes you might want a practical activity to be assessed. Some, you can have what they call a professional discussions, where you're having a conversation with your teacher and you're talking about it, and that is the way you get assessed. So there's lots of different things out there for you potentially. Great, so hopefully we've all got a little something out of that. Just started us thinking. And now, leading on quite nicely from that, we've got another little activity as well. So rather than thinking just about the differences between school and further education, I'd like us to think a bit more now about what different types of further education are there? Because I've just told you there's loads, right? But what are they? So I'm going to do another little activity with you. Well, you're going to do while you pause this. So go back to this one and we're going to go on activity link 2. And it's the same website that we just used previously, but this time a little bit more challenging. Hopefully you'll find it fun. So you'll see you've got a few different things here. So click on any one you like. So that is, and the type of course that is access to higher education. So these intensive courses usually last 8 to 9 months and aim to prepare students for university, whilst also enabling them to gain qualifications equivalent to A levels. So we need to find one more of these descriptions which we think might also be an access course. Let's have a look. See, what can we find here? All right. Can you see what you think it is? I think I found it. So, is that right? Yeah. So this type of learning is mostly for those who didn't attain A levels and want to progress to higher education. So those both are access course. Click on another one, virtual learning, and there will be another one here. So you just need to match up all of those and hopefully learn a little bit about what all these different courses and types of education are. So, like I said, if you can pause this video, go and do the link, see how you get on. Like I said, it's a little bit challenging, hopefully not too difficult, and then we can have a bit of a discussion about those options afterwards. Away you go. Right. See, not even I'm doing this right. So we're going to get to the end quickly. Hopefully you've already done this. Brilliant. So we've got a few things here. So hopefully now you've done this task already. But here we go. So we've got sixth form and colleges, which obviously you've got, some of you probably know a little bit more about. We've got apprenticeships, which are a way of you having less classroom time, more practical time actually learning on the job and actually earning some moolah at the same time. Also, you've got traineeships, which are sort of like a stepping stone, a pre-apprenticeship where you can get some work experience in a particular field and upskill a little bit. And a lot of people who do a traineeship, because they're a lot shorter, upskill a little bit, get some experience, and then either are in a better position to then get paid work afterwards, or they can progress onto an apprenticeship. University, I'm sure you've got an idea of what that is. You've got volunteer work and unpaid internships where there's no formal qualification, but it's kind of just getting your foot in the door, showing them who you are, that you're passionate and learning. Distance learning, learning on a computer, which is actually going to be quite similar to what you've hopefully been getting used to over the last couple of months that you've had to be doing virtual learning due to COVID. So they're really useful because quite often you can do them in your own time. And if you have other commitments, like if you've got kids, if you've got a full-time job, if you have to care for someone at home, then it's really flexible. And then access course, the first one we looked at, that's what I did. I actually didn't get any A levels as a young person. I went straight into work from the age of 16. And when I got to my early 20s, realized that actually I was going to do a lot better in the world of work if I had a few more qualifications. So I did this intensive 9-month course at what is now Brighton Met. And that gave me the qualifications that I needed to then go to university. Also, alternative provisions, small training providers, ones for people who maybe have anxiety or they don't like large colleges. So really, really great. Look at what types of vocational courses they offer. So like I said, loads and loads of choice. Brilliant. So thank you for that. I'm pretty sure that that is about it for our first part of this. I hope that you have enjoyed it and you've got something useful out of it so far. And I look forward to seeing you for the next instalment. Catch you later, guys and girls. All the best.